I think there are a couple of ways that the trauma-informed focus is unique at Bryn Mawr from our perspective. One is we really tie it together with a focus on the dynamics of power, privilege, and oppression. So we really use that as a lens for understanding the impact of trauma across systems levels. And the second way is because we think about it organizationally, not just what happens in the classroom, but also in how we can support our students in their journey in becoming professional social workers. So what we're always encouraging students to do and to think about is to look at exposure to trauma through that lens of inequity and of structural inequality, and understand that exposure to trauma is not randomly distributed in our society and tends to sort of go along with exposure to other kinds of risk as well. So this is really important because we might look at things like, how do you bridge clinical social work and community practice? How do you make sure that approaches to trauma-informed care are culturally responsive? So that while we want to have evidence-informed approaches, we also want to be teaching about how the voices of people who are experiencing trauma themselves and their lived experience is really important to include when we think about how we do our work. We also look at the exposure to trauma from what we call a developmental context. So we're interested in how trauma exposure at one point in the lifespan might impact well-being at a later point in the lifespan if people don't have access to reparative resources in the interim. And within our school itself, we've decided to sort of go beyond the explicit curriculum, right? So we have the course on trauma-informed care, we have advanced electives on trauma-informed care, but we also have infused this thinking into what we call our implicit curriculum, or everything that happens outside the classroom. So, for example, we have a first-year required experience program for our students called the Connect program, which is really focused on building community, building peer support, and we think that is very trauma-informed in terms of supporting our students' well-being in the program. Similarly to that, we have open dialogues and community conversations and have really focused on increasing student services, because we know that as developing social workers, our students may well bring their own histories of trauma exposure, but at the same time we're working to support the well-being of other people so that our students in turn also need support.